welcome back to another edition of the Change My Mind podcast.
I won't change my mind because I don't have to, because I'm an American.
Yes, you are, and I am Wesley Sykes. Through the other side of the ether is the bendejo to my puto and Senor Nicholas J. Esquire, La Concha de tu Madre for hire.
I actually don't remember what that is. That La Conte? What is that?
I think this might be a rough translation. I just did a quick Google search there. I think that's motherfucker. So right off the bat, not even 1 minute in, we're already demonetized. Not that we're making money from this anyway here, but sneaky part about the Blue Beetle movie is that they snuck in a lot of Hispanic swears.
Yes, I did catch that note looking through your things. And there were definitely moments where it's like he said something they didn't translate it, and context clues and everything like that. Yeah.
I've worked in enough restaurants to know what bendejo means. I've heard puto. I've heard all of them,
Yeah, I think puto there's a Portuguese word that's similar to that, I believe, but not bendejo.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that one is.
That's asshole.
Okay. Duly noted. Okay, nice. So I'm the asshole. Got it. Okay, cool.
Right. Yes. There we go. But there's no real winners here. I think if puto roughly translates to pussy, right? That's my imagination. I'm no scholar there, but we're just ripping curse words right off the top here, and
the tone early and often.
Yeah, exactly. Because this week we're going to be discussing the latest and greatest. No, I can't say that. DC movie Blue Beetle, starring Xolo Mariduena, Bruna Marquezin, and Damian Alcazar and George Lopez. How about an easy one to end that out there? It was nice to see George Lopez there. But before we get to all that, Nick, I'm supposed to be coming up with the intro question on the fly. This is it. It's all wedding related here. So it's all wedding related. What is the song that you and Lauren are being introduced as, or leaving the aisle? Do you have that, or is it where it's in a church, or is that not playing like that?
I don't recall what we're leaving from on the church.
I guess you can't really have like a pop song in a church.
No,
right?
But I will tell you, it's like it just worked out this way. It's either Mozart or Bach. Like it's like a standard church song. I never knew it was Mozart or Bach, so like you'll recognize it when you hear it.
How about introduction to the reception?
I'm trying to think, because we like some of the stuff we want to kind of keep close to the vest. How about this? How about I counter your question with another question and see if I can give you something maybe you'll appreciate a little more?
Okay.
Would you like to know who's sitting at your table at the wedding?
I would like to know here. As someone who's going to be flying solo, I think it's important to do some reconnaissance work there. So make sure I have some talking points written down.
Okay, so we're going to go with this instead. All right. So at your table do you have any guesses for who's at your table? Do you want to throw those out there? Do you want me to just rip them off?
No, just rip them off here.
All right, cool. So there's a few people flying solo. There's you. Mm-hmm. There's one Billy D, formerly of the Pop Culture Pile Driver podcast.
I'm familiar. Yes.
And then our former resident guy in the chair, one Tim Weisberg.
Oh, wow. Nice. Great.
Yes. And then also at your table will be a pair of couples. A former boss of ours who will be representing the Boston Globe this weekend. That weekend, Brendan.
Oh, I got. He texted us. I didn't get back to him on that too. I got to get back to him on that text thread there. Definitely Reese's peanut or peanut M&Ms over Reese's Pieces for sure.
He is, yes, one of our food experts. We haven't had him on a long time. Maybe we'll have to revisit that at some point. And then also, last but not least, also representing the DSG, one Joe Gilmore and his lovely wife.
Oh, awesome! I haven't got to meet his better half yet, too. So that'll be nice. Oh, very fun stuff there.
Oh, okay. and my boss from work too.
Oh, very nice. Okay, yes. So we get the whole gang there. Okay, yes. So so is that 10 people at a table? Is that?
I think it's 10 or 9. I think it's just 3 singles and then 3 couples. So.
Now, I've always stated that it doesn't matter who you get placed with as much as where the table is placed in the scheme of the rest of the layout of the room. So if we're in all the way back, that means you don't think too kindly of us. You want to keep us away from your family and your closer relatives. That's generally what I've come to find.
Okay. Well, you'll see where you're sitting. This is going to be interesting. I honestly, I didn't have a whole lot to say in the table location. That was not. We did. Lauren and I actually didn't have a whole lot of say in it.
Oh, really? Yeah, but you placed the people at the tables, though.
Yeah. No, that was no.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Oh, wait.
So if we're like furthest in the back, if like our table,
I didn't start saying that. That's what I'm saying. I sat you with the table with the people that I wanted to sit you with.
Okay. So once you have the people at the table, the venue then has all right, table 9's over here, table 8's over here. Like that's what I'm saying.
Other family had say in who goes where more so.
I gotcha. Okay, I'm following now. I was gonna say, how would they not give you final say on that?
They gave as far as they know, I had complete control, but like Lauren and I didn't as much because there's other
I gotcha.
Family and
whatnot. Sure, a lot of cooks in the kitchen. I get it.
Exactly. It's exactly what it is. Yes.
We had at the time we had 3 moms all helping Julia out there. So you can imagine what that's like, right?
I don't really know if I want to imagine that. But yeah.
Okay, so that's a good in lieu of the Christmas or the intro question. I don't know why Christmas was on my mind. I might be having a stroke right now. Every time throughout one portion of the episode, you may question yourself at home, being like, "Did he just have a mini stroke there?" And that was one of it. So if you had that on your bingo card, jot that down.
Happens to both of us. I will say that. There's many a time where I'm like, did I just fucking say that?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have complete control of what's coming out of my mouth. But let's shift over to trending now in the news because we do have major control over that.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
I saw this on Twitter today, or X, or whatever you want to call it. But National Cinema Day is on Sunday, August 27th. If that day rings a bell to you, it should, because it's the day of my birth. But on this day, every movie in every showtime in every format will cost just $4. National Cinema Day. What would you go see for $4? And this is kind of a tough question because we've already seen a lot of movies already. But is there a recent movie that you haven't seen, like if they were to put it back in theaters or in the last year or two or something like that?
Well, I think right now the big one is that we kind of touched upon when we did our blockbuster episode is that we haven't seen Oppenheimer yet. So get to see Oppenheimer for $4 and ideally try and see an IMAX. That's perfect to me.
That seems like that was the first one that came to mind. Of course, Barbie also came to mind. The wife has now been clamoring to go see that, which I think is odd timing. Like in the moment, she didn't get Barbie Mania, but now she kind of wants to go see it. But I'd be up to go see that there. Another movie that I thought I'm not sure if you watched this in theaters, but I know I didn't. It was Dune.
Oh yeah. No, wait a minute.
Because I think that was on HBO Max. Was that an HBO Max release?
I think you're right. Yes. Yeah. No, that's fair. I'm not big on seeing movies a second time in theaters. Like it has to take a special movie, or like if there's an instance where like I saw something and then my dad wants to go see it and he wants to see it with me. That like somebody wants to go see the movie with me, then I'll do that. But that's really it. But it's definitely worth it. Worthy of that for sure. Like
it's tough. But I'm saying if there was one movie, I think I would generally agree with you. But if I had to answer that question, I think it might be Dune. Where I didn't see that in theaters, or again, I think I've watched that at home. So
yeah, I don't know
because I know we were brave in the theaters.
Oh yeah, we were. But I think at that point it's like, well, if they're gonna release it, on HBO and we have HBO, we share an HBO account. Like, why are we gonna do that?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I don't know, but go to your local theater, August 27th, go see a flick with the family. Everyone always complains about the price to go take a family to a ball game, to a movie theater. It's outrageous. $4, make it happen.
Yeah, absolutely. My question is, has this been a thing for a long time? I've never heard of National Cinema Day. I know
this is the first I've heard of it, actually. Okay. I think it's a cool idea. I would imagine this is something, that kind of got birthed in post-COVID when all the movie theaters and everything were doing really badly. But either way, I'm on board for it. It's good. It's good stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Wait, oh my God, what is this?
Choo-choo, bitches.
What? The train left the station very early. I'm not even sure if you got a chance to get your tickets, Nick, but nevertheless, we're moving the discharge depot up because actors and writers are still on strike at the moment. There's not a whole lot of news there, and do we really want to talk about, the Snow White actress kind of being like, kind of a stick in the mud about the old Snow White? Like, no, that's already played out, So Nick, What'd you watch this weekend? You know, we know you did the whole Lord of the Rings watch party last week.
You know what? I'm glad you remind. I forgot there was a horror movie that I watched. I forgot to jot this down, but I do want to say, Wes, that you that we're doing a great impression of the MBTA. By the way, this feels very similar to that. Although,
that's a good joke. That's a topical joke there.
yeah,
Not really running on time, running off schedule. If you got your tickets, hey, you're shit out of luck. I'm sorry.
We actually were trying to use the MBTA this weekend, and then we found out, oh no, wait, the stop that we're trying to use, it's not from Braintree to I think North Quincy, whatever the one is right before JFK, UMass Boston on the Braintree line. They're not in service. They're doing construction, which, hey, I get it. You got to do it and stuff like that. But it was a little bit annoying to deal with that. But I'll get to that later. What I watched this weekend was a movie called Cobweb that came out this year. I don't know if it was in theaters or whatever, but it was, oh my God, I'm blanking on her name right now.
Charlotte. It was Charlotte's Web.
Yes, that's exactly what it was. But Anthony Starr was in this. This is the first time I've seen him in anything outside of being Homelander. Lizzie Kaplan was the other big name in
now,
this.
did you mean Anthony Starr?
It's spelled Anthony.
Yeah.
Did I say Anthony?
Oh, no, I was just trying to be a wise ass there.
Yeah, of course. So Anthony Starr and Lizzie Kaplan are a married couple in this. And this is a horror movie. And basically their son... And again, we've talked about child actors, how they can ruin a movie, especially when they're a big part. This kid,
snot-nosed brats.
Woody Norman, plays Peter. He's outstanding. In the entire movie, he's like hearing stuff in the house, and he's like a paranoid little kid. And you just don't know the entire time. Is there actually something going on in the house? Is there somebody living in the walls? Is there like the movie Within, which I talked about a little while back on here? This has terrible ratings. I think it's like a 5.9 on IMDb, and then a 63% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay.
It scared the fucking shit out of me. 73% score by the audience on Rotten Tomatoes. So still fresh.
All right. Okay. Yeah.
If you're looking for a little horror thing to check out at home, this is fucking terrifying. Don't let your kids see this shit.
And what is this? What is it? Platform is this on?
We got it on Prime. I believe it was $7 on Prime.
All right. So worth it. 73% on a horror movie. Yeah.
Yes, that's true. That's
go shit your pants. You know.
Yes, 70% an audience, and then 63 on the tomato meter for the critics. So still fresh. But yeah, it scared the fuck out of me.
All right. Well, I think I'm going to scare the fuck out of your wedding guests, because I'm going to be looking sharp, fresh to death, some may say. I got a couple of new suit jackets there. Black, navy, classic navy. Black, just need to update some of the classics in my wardrobe there. And this is great. I got it at H&M. You know, it's like, you know, everyone's going to be asking who you wear and that sort of thing. Or you have to spend like a crazy amount of money. I don't know. I think these suit jackets look pretty good. $85 a piece. And it just matches. I can mix and match everything, you know?
Why did you go to H&M when you have a Dan Flash's right down the road from you?
Oh, I don't have that type of damn Flash money.
Okay. All right. So you
have to talk to my boss about that, you know?
Maybe I have to have that conversation. I've been thinking about doing
I would love it if you could. Just be the Ben Affleck to my Matt Damon, like my consigliere, and just advise.
You're not going to have... I was expecting you to have... I've been telling everybody you're going to have the most complicated patterns at the wedding. It's going to be between you and Billy D, and now it looks like we know who's going to win that one. It's going to be really awkward at the table.
It might be Joe, to be honest with you, based on our conversations in the group chat. I mean, he likes to have a little pizzazz, you know, like a little extra flash there. Pardon the pun, but some people have that flair. So
there you go.
I don't know. I'm more of an understated guy when it comes to dressing up. You know,
I'm with you.
Yeah, the clothes complement the man,
right?
Or is that the man doesn't complement the clothes? I think that can work. Okay, we'll go with that.
Sure, makes sense to me.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, but so I got a little upgrade on the suit, but the problem number 2, I got a little car issue right now. Car won't start. Might need a new battery. Might need a new alternator. Who knows? But thank you to my mother for buying me a AAA plus membership every year since 16 years old. So still continues to do that. Going on 20 years now. So thank you very much. Wow. That's going to come in handy for the tow. But the problem is I'm entering week 3 of my movie star body workout, the shrink wrap phase. and I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get my gains tonight at the gym. I need to enter the shrink wrap phase, Nick.
Well, the beauty of that is, Wes, you can still do that pretty well at home. Like
I don't have a pull-up bar though.
That's the only thing is the pull-up bar, and I forget if you have 2 pull-up. Do you have bands at home though?
I do have some resistance bands. Yeah.
So you could do like a bent over row and try and like move it at a slower pace or something like that. It's not ideal. It's not ideal. But when you're in this kind of situation where I think when that's funny because when I had to do it the first time around, I'm pretty sure I got COVID. So I couldn't go to the friggin' gym for like a week. And I was like, motherfucker, I just started doing this thing. And I'm finally at the shrink wrap phase and I have COVID. Like, what the fuck?
That's tough. That's tougher. But the 30-second breaks are going to kill me here. So that's going to be interesting. But I like your resourcefulness. I might do that.
Yeah, that is the beauty of it. It's like that.
Because not everybody can go on strike. You know what I mean? Not everyone can afford that.
Yep, our body certainly cannot go on.
No,
strikes.
Not my gains. No, nope. That's for sure.
Yeah, but other than that, speaking of the wedding, I am officially licensed to wed, so I'm very excited about that.
I thought that was the movie that you saw. Isn't Licensed to Wed like a Robin Williams movie? When I saw that note in there, I'm pretty sure it is. And like John Krasinski.
That would be fun. It is a movie.
Yeah,
and it is Robin Williams. Man,
I thought you and Lauren did like a wedding movie marathon type of thing. So I was like, or like starting to run through some stuff, you know?
Gotcha. No, that's funny. Yeah, 2007. We never heard of that.
You really got that. Okay, so that's good. So you're recognized by the state at this point, right?
Yes, exactly. By the state of Connecticut, not Massachusetts or New Hampshire, but that'll come.
But it is the Constitution state, so that's got to mean something, though.
Yeah, it's got to carry extra weight. Easily enough, though, it turns out like it's just to do it in that state, and then you're good everywhere else in the U.S.
Yeah, they got to accept it. You know, it's like United
States. The bar. Yeah, right. Exactly. But also, we did a little trip into Boston, Wes. I mentioned that earlier. I do want to make good on that. Have you ever been to the Oyster House?
No, I've seen that many a time before, but I think that's where DeAndre Hopkins went and got served the pork in his clam chowder.
Oh,
I could be mistaken. I don't know, but that seems like the most famous clam chowder place to go.
Dude, that is the best chowder I've ever had in my life. No question.
It lives up to it then, huh?
Oh my God. Like, yeah, it was, I knew it was like, so apparently it's the oldest restaurant in the United States.
Is it?
Yeah, so it's been maybe there's an older building, but like even then that's still going to be in like the New England-ish area. But it became a restaurant in like the 1827. Lauren had really wanted to go to it, and like why not? So it's like I think it's like 1827. I think is when it became a restaurant.
Very interesting there. So you're sitting there with the likes of Ben Franklin wasn't around then, but I don't know who's 1800.
No, but it's been a building since like the 1600s, I think. So
okay,
yeah, and it was used for like military stuff.
Then with the John Hancocks and all that stuff. Huh?
Yep, Hancocks, Adams. You might be right about Franklin. Who knows?
Who knows? He did like Boston.
Yep. So, but that chowder, man, I'm telling you, like if it's like it may seem like a basic thing to do, but it is seriously. I had a sip of it.
I love a good clam chowder. You got to have it. I think the one thing I would question is like clam chowder in the middle of August in the dog days of summer. Like is soup, especially a milk-based soup, the option to go to.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point. But we're not questioning me. We're questioning. We're talking about the food. I can get questioned up and down all day.
Yeah, I'm just did you guys go out walking? I feel like it would be like a sluggish food.
It was. I mean, sure it is, but it was. I mean, I just said a cup, not a bowl.
A cup. Yeah.
And we were going on a boat. Like for like a little boat ride thing. So it was, it wasn't that bad. It was pretty cloudy. So it was like in the 60s, not too humid. So
all right.
I guess I got lucky is what it comes down to.
When I used to work at Legal Seafoods on Long Island, I used to have carb load because I was living in squalor in a college house there. So I would carb load at the end of the night and take the leftover mashed potatoes, 1, 2, maybe 3 scoops sometimes, and then take the leftover clam chowder and pour it over the mashed potatoes. And that is, talk about a rib stick and meal. It is delicious.
Really?
Highly recommend it. Yeah, that is an Irishman's dream.
I am very curious. Okay, we're gonna have to try this out sometime. I need to know what this experiment is like.
It's good. I mean, you love mashed potatoes, you love clam chowder. It's like a consistency that goes really well together. I would also use the Manhattan clam chowder with rice.
Wow. Okay, that makes a
Tomato
little more
base.
sense
It
to me.
just rolls right over. It works well. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
that makes more sense.
the New England clam chowder and mashed potatoes. If you want a carb load, I highly suggest that.
That's very interesting. Also, last thing before we get going,
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to throw this out there to our listeners. I don't know how many Lord of the Rings fans we have out there based on the debate that we had a few years back with Billy and Joe. It seems like we would have like a decent amount of ones. I finally started playing the game Lord of the Rings Rise to War. It's a mobile game, and it's like a strategy kind of thing where you're taking over different territories and you're building things out. Kind of like I never played Roller Coaster Tycoon, but I think it's kind of like that. Clash of
Okay.
Clans, kind of
Okay.
like that.
Mm-hmm.
So something that I've just started doing. I'm curious if we have any listeners that play it. Let us know on Twitter, please, because I'm just curious your thoughts on it. It seems awesome, and I've been sucked in.
So the games I've really cycled out of the game. Any sort of little games that I used to play, I really don't. Sometimes I'll get a little Mario Kart if I'm feeling frisky on my phone. But that's really just about it. There's a mobile game. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's fun. It's a fun game. It's really easy, but it's fun.
I've pretty much just been doing like basic stuff. Like there's like I don't know what the number. There's a numbers game that I do, and then there's like a word search ish kind of game. Like
that's always good to have on a plane. If you can play that offline.
Yeah, like they're kind of brain teasery like. So I like those, but I'll tell you what, man, I fucking hate how the grid doesn't come out like at midnight because we can do it first thing in the morning because that was how I was starting my day, and now it's really messy.
I do like that, but I do my crossover NBA grids in the morning. So it's that crossover site because they also have football and baseball and basketball and all that stuff now. So I do that, and I also do the Daily Dozen trivia. Big fan of the Daily Dozen trivia, which does come out first thing in the morning.
Okay,
so that's fun to do on while I'm taking a shit.
Yeah, no, that's like for me. It's like before I roll out of bed. It's like, all right, I got this. Let's get me started. Jumpstart my brain. It's amazing.
I at least have one good thing going on today. That's good.
There you go. All right.
All right. We're switching gears to the main topic here, which is Blue Beetle.
This ain't what you want. This ain't what you want.
This ain't what you want. Little Blue Beetle theme song there. Why don't you hit us with the synopsis, though, Nick?
An alien scarab chooses college graduate Jaime Reyes to be its symbiotic host, bestowing the teenager with a suit of armor that's capable of extraordinary and unpredictable powers, forever changing his destiny as he becomes the superhero known as Blue Beetle.
Wow, this movie is directed by Angel Manuel Soto and written by Garrett Dunnett. Garrett Dunnett. That's kind of a funny first name there. That kind of made me a little chuckle. Garrett Dunnett Alcazar. I
think you got that.
Alcazar. There we go. Starring Xolo Mariduena. Give me all the props in the world for that. Bruna Marquezin, Becky G, Damian Alcazar, George Lopez, Adriana Bazara, Belissa Escobedo, Elpidia Carrillo, Susan Sarandon, thank you, Harvey Guillen, and Raul Max Trujillo.
I think so. I think you got that right. Trujillo. That was well done, sir. I think you did a pretty good job for that one. So as for the box office and critic reception, this hauled in 43.4 million worldwide, 24.4 million domestic, the lowest domestic opening weekend in DCEU history. Where did you get that stat, Wes?
I saw that on Twitter from Discussing Film.
Okay, that's disappointing. Discussing Film, yeah, they do a good job. It received a 6.9 out of 10 on IMDb, and then it has a pretty significant split on Rotten Tomatoes, 76-92 on Google reviews. This is a 3.8 out of 5, but 3.8 out of 5. Yet 92% of Google users like this movie.
Yeah, it's a messy metric there, but it's just good for reference points.
Yes.
But now what's not messy? This is you can put it in stone. You could take it to the bank. Our scores and tweet length review. I'll start, Nick, if you don't mind.
Please do.
85 out of 100. Fun movie with a lot of heart, carried by the Reyes family dynamic, in my opinion. Blue Beetle doesn't do anything new in this kind of above average boilerplate origin story, but does a lot of things well. Particularly the steamy on-screen chemistry between Xolo Mariduena and Bruna Marquezin.
Bruna.
Yeah.
You've been 50-50 on that. So I was like, yeah. So this is the test right here. Did you get it on that one? But yeah, I would say we're living on the same street in this case. 2-point difference here. I gave it a little bit higher this time around, 87 out of 100. The foundation of a superhero origin movie is still present, but this movie is all about its heart, both Jaime and his family's. Very well, and the action was very well done.
I agree. Okay, now we got some of the fluff out of the way. Let's get down to brass tacks, to the exit survey questions. Yeah. Did this movie live up to our hype or our expectations? I think, judging by the score, that's safe to say.
Yeah, I think it exceeded it for sure. The only expectation I really had coming into this was from the trailers that we'd seen the level of action that I expected, the quality of it, and it definitely met it. So that was the only area where I would say it didn't exceed, because they set a reasonable bar in the trailers and they were right there. And it maybe exceeded a little bit because there's one scene that was really, really kick-ass. But otherwise, like, it was like, I went in thinking, okay, we'll see what this is. I don't care about Blue Beetle, whether you're talking about Jaime Reyes or Ted Cord or Tony Cord, excuse me. Like, it's whatever. So
I think it's Ted. I think it is Ted.
It is Ted. Okay. Yeah.
But I agree with this. This exceeded my expectations. I didn't really have any, like you said, I didn't really know Blue Beetle at all. So I didn't really come in with any preconceived notions. And so this was a pretty low stakes, low investment sort of thing for me. But not only did this movie exceed my expectations, but I was also surprised by the amount of seats that were filled in the Dartmouth movie theater at a 1:00 showing on Friday afternoon, which nice. it was decently filled. And also kudos to me, because I timed it out perfectly. I arrived just as the opening credits were starting, so I was very excited about that. Didn't miss a second, but missed all of the commercials and the previews.
So that's awesome to hear. I'm happy for you. I timed it out
on the nose. I was pumped.
I timed it out perfectly, but not in the way that you did it. I got there, got all my food, got set up, went to the bathroom, had time to come back.
That's a good move.
Then it still hadn't started, and then I was like, "Oh no, did I lock my car?" I'm like, I was like, I had my iPad in there. I was like, I don't know. So I ran out, locked the car, came back. Movie was starting right as I walked back in.
Was it unlocked, or did you just stand away and just locked it? And
just stood away and locked it. I didn't care. The stuff was there afterwards, so we were fine.
There we go. You're good. Okay, awesome. I like it. So that was good stuff for all the way around. We had some good luck on our hands there.
Look at that.
So in your opinion, this is a fun question here. Blue Beetle's powers, abilities, background is a blend of what three other superheroes?
I think your assessment of it is pretty spot on. I think there's only the third one where I may be a little So I don't want to
I think there's a couple different ways that you can go out here, but the one that we'll talk about this here is Iron Man, Green Lantern, and Venom. Obviously, the Ted guy is more of like the Iron Man archetype there, with having all of this genius tech. Jaime Reyes really just kind of falls into it and is chosen. But that's where the Green Lantern comes in, right? The Ring chooses him, much like the Scarab chooses Jaime, and he can also create whatever weapons he can imagine, right? So that's where Green Lantern comes in too. The Venom thing is with the symbiosis, where they kind of connect and like having a host human and intergalactic type of item there.
Yeah, that's actually but see, there you go. Like when I first saw it, I was like Venom, and then I was thinking about it now. It's like maybe not. Perfect, like totally makes sense on the Venom front, but the other two especially, it's like even with Iron Man, like his stuff kind of like his suit feels nanotechy. So it's to me, I think calling it this is Iron Man meets Green Lantern meets Venom. Yeah.
Or I think you could throw Ant-Man in there, certainly for the bug relations, but having Ted is not really not Howard Stark, Hank Pym. But there is a rich scientist benefactor behind Jaime Reyes, much like Paul Rudd's Ant-Man, Scott Lang's Ant-Man was, right? So there's some similarities there aside from the bug stuff. I think you could even make an argument for Moon Knight, just again, kind of with like the symbiosis and having like not really voices, but that sort of conversation going on with an entity. I think there is some sort of similarities there, but yeah, there's a couple, maybe Batman with all his gadgets with the cool beetle, the giant beetle bug. Could be like the Batmobile, Batwing, or Batflex crawler thing, whatever that was.
Yeah, maybe with on the cord end of things, but I really think like the way you put it is the best way. That's why I was like, I'm not even gonna try and think about this any further because
a couple different ways you could do that there. I think I'm dying out here. Am I sketching out on you?
You are sketching out on me a little bit. Do you want me to I'll take us into the next thing then.
Yeah.
All right. So where does this rank among other recent DC movies? So we're going to go all the way back into late last year, late 2022. Black Adam came out at that time. We also had Shazam since then, The Flash, which we reviewed as well, and then Blue Beetle. So those four, West, where does Blue Beetle fall?
Yeah, so I was thinking about this, and I think The Flash and Blue Beetle are close. Certainly in a tier separate from Black Adam and in Shazam 2, right? So, but I think what I liked about The Flash is that they took more chances and hit on more things. They have more memorable comic book movie moments. Blue Beetle does a lot of things really well. It's a solid singles hitter. Could be maybe a number 2 or a number 8 in the lineup, sort of thing. You know what I mean? Nice table setter, or maybe you get that double leadoff man in the 8 or 9 slot. But I think the Flash is more of your like 240 average, 30 home runs, like kind of like a Kyle Schwarber type who can hit bombs, but may strike out a lot.
I think you're being generous to Kyle Schwarber right now. No, he's
right
a beast.
Currently, but I just think throughout the totality of his career.
Of course. No, I'm just kidding. Yes, no, I think that is a pretty good way to describe the Flash. And then when it comes to Blue Beetle, to me, if we're going to keep this analogy up, to me, I think Blue Beetle is like Bill Miller in the year that he won the batting title. Like out of nowhere, he goes and surprises everybody, and he's the leader in the clubhouse. Can he maintain it? I don't know, but he did a really good job, and there's no way denying it. So for me, this gets number 1 of this grouping.
So this guy, Bill Miller, the Blue Beetle hit 2 grand slams from both sides of the plate in the same inning. This is what Blue Beetle did for you?
Well, now we're getting really...
That was the same year, wasn't it?
It might have been. I don't know.
Maybe it was 03, the year before. But I don't know.
Did you collect the bazooka cards at that time, or were you out of card collecting?
No, I was out of the game.
They had like these like comic cards for Bazooka Joe, because obviously Bazooka Gum came with them, and they had it for Bill Miller where he hit grand slam on both sides of the plate.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, I believe it was against the Texas Rangers.
Sounds right.
Yeah, I believe it was. I don't know. I'm not sure though. But
Can't tell you're wrong.
Yeah, we'll go with it. Yeah, I think that's good. Black Adam, again, I think I remember having a similar reaction to Blue Beetle as Black Adam, where it was like, there's nothing big about this. They don't do anything like really spectacular other than maybe the JSA, right, and the supporting cast of Black Adam. But it was a pretty boilerplate, solid movie.
So I disagree on this front. I think that Black Adam was solid. I remember watching it thinking, this is better than I expected to be. And I thought, where Blue Beetle, I don't know. Black Adam was like, I don't think this is going to be good. That's how I felt. And I don't know if you were, I don't feel like you were.
Yes. Yeah. I wasn't excited for Black Adam. I had more, what's the word? Like more indifference to Blue Beetle.
Right. Yes, that's fair. So at the end of it all, I thought, yeah, Black Adam was good. I had a fun time. It was solid. Blue Beetle has heart, and I think as much as Black Adam has solid action, Blue Beetle has some really, really good action. Like I get what you're saying about the home runs, like with the Flash, like where it has Michael Keaton in it and everything. Totally get that. But I think that Blue Beetle, I'm taking Blue Beetle over the Flash every day.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because this kind of rolls into the next question with my thought, where does this rank among comic book superhero movies that were recently released, right? So maybe within the last year or two, I think Spider-Verse is up there. You put in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, rightfully so. I missed that from the list there, but yeah, I think I went Spider-Verse, Flash, or Spider-Verse, Guardians of the Galaxy, Flash, Blue Beetle, Ant-Man 3, Black Adam, Shazam 2. But I had some questions about Guardian 3 because it just came out on Disney Plus. I went to go rewatch it and it was very depressing. It was a very dark movie upon a second rewatch. And I'm just not sure if the rewatchability is going to be there for me. Like I would go back and enjoy a watch from Blue Beetle or from The Flash or obviously Spider-Verse. Does that make sense?
You didn't catch that was I'm hung up on this. You didn't catch
No,
that?
I knew it was a dark movie, but coming back to it, I was like, oh man, it was really dark. I think I was more like upon the first watch, you still kind of have the excitement of like, where is this going to go? So like, while you know that it's like dark stuff's happening, you're still kind of like invested into seeing where it goes. But now as a rewatch, I'm like, oh, I don't know if I want to go through and watch all this torture stuff. Like in the beginning, like it's like the first 15 minutes is like a tough get through. I
would imagine that's a tough rewatch. I don't know when I'm going to do it, but I loved that movie. But that's definitely one where you can't just like, hey, I'm going to pop it on and watch this shit. Like this is you got to really sit down and invest in it. Whereas like Across the Spider-Verse, TMNT, Mutant Mayhem, and honestly Blue Beetle too. I think those are movies you can kind of just pop on whatever and you're going to be fine.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree.
But we have a similar feel to all this. Across the Spider-Verse, Guardians 3, TMNT, Mutant Mayhem, Blue Beetle. Then I'm between Ant-Man and the Flash, and I think when we get to our retcon episode that we do at the end of the year, this will be the third time we've done it. Mm-hmm. Ant-Man I had too high. I do want to rewatch it before I alter the grading, but I gave it like an 89, and that's not a better movie than Blue Beetle.
Yeah, no, I agree too. And even just from a CGI standpoint, I think they do a lot better with the CGI. I think this is going to come up here. The suit looked awesome, right? The suit looked great.
Yeah.
What was the most rewatchable scene from this movie?
We're in the same page on this one. There's no question about it. Like where Jaime, where Blue Beetle and his family, like they all at the end get going. Like specifically when after Jaime's mom gives him that speech. Once he comes in, the music that they played, I meant to look up that song, but it was perfect for that whole fight, the hallway fight sequence.
I forget what it was too, but yeah, I remember thinking the musical sequence with that. Yeah, it did really work. Although what didn't work for me was the mother's speech. The mother's speech didn't land for me. The whole mother character didn't really work. It felt like a little redundant with having the grandmother there as well, kind of being that like matriarchal, influence on him.
The mother speech kind of landed. It landed. You know what it was? That was when the what was the AI's not the AI the
Kachi G or something. Oh, you're talking about the Scarab or the actual like mech bodysuit? Yeah. It's like the Kachi G.
Yeah, I think it's Kachi. I think it's Kachi. So when she like quoted the mom, Kashida.
Yeah.
I loved when she quoted the mom and said, like, let's kick their ass. Mm-hmm. I loved that. The speech, I was like, okay, like, I'm excited to see what's going to happen. But yeah, it wasn't necessary. It was odd. Like, that character was, so of all of them, the way she was written.
She was my least, probably my least favorite of the family members.
Might have been the acting. Might have not been.
It might have been. It didn't work for me. Whatever the case was, but for the most rewatchable scene, I agree. Once Jamie reconnects with the Scarab after, seeing his father, who had just passed there, and kind of again coming back into the fold, he gets the big mega sword, which I think it might be an anime sword. I think I always saw that somewhere.
Yeah,
he's kind of like dragging it in the line there, and it's like a heavy, almost like an executioner sword. That was really cool. And then he kind of figures out that he can make up any weapons that he wants. Of course, it's the culminating fight scene. You mentioned too that all the family members kind of get their own spot. It's a little cheesy, but they all get their own little moment to shine with these, old, outdated devices, right?
Yeah. So a couple things. One, with the big sword, that was awesome. I don't know if the manga Berserk is the first one that introduced that sword, but that's the one I think of when I see a sword like that. So that was that was so cool. The other thing, when you talk about all the family getting their moments, Nana was, oh my God, she was great.
The Nana one, the first time I'm like, oh, who is this lady? She's like kind of getting into it, and she's like looking over the map and everything, like that.
Yep.
Like, that was kind of funny. Then she was like a resistance or something like that, right? So it's like that was pretty cool to see.
She was awesome. That was like the sister moment was kind of cool, and obviously what's his face, Rudy was fun all around. But getting Nana to, like, when her hair drops and she's holding that gun, like I forget what the sister's name is, but she's like, why do you know how to hold that so well?
Yeah, and she's just got like the freaking Gatling gun. She's just like mowing people down. Like that was very fun to see.
Oh, she was good.
Yeah, so but again, there's not a huge amount of action scenes that kind of replay out here. I think there's some good scenes that are set, and there's a lot of great stuff going on with the family. But you get the mirror match villain here too, which will come up in a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you think will age the best from this movie?
I think Bruna Marquezin's career
Caliente,
because the second I'm like she's got the look, and she was good. She was a good actress. Like, I think she's going to take off from here. And like you said, like the on-screen chemistry was great between the two.
It was a little like risque. There's like boner talk in there, and then like about where do you want to ride me? Like that sort of at the end. She gives some steamy looks there for what I imagine is a PG-13 movie.
Yeah, that was they were definitely having some fun on that end of it. The action sequences, the action, there was I think it was 3 ones that in general were awesome. Even the intro to the blue Beetle suit, those kind of things can be like, okay, cool.
I thought that was kind of like he had no control over it and everything. I was like, all right, I've because there's a lot of this that we've seen this before. You know what I mean? And that's kind of just the state of comic book movies and just kind of comic books in general, right? These characters were written in comics. They're going to be inspired by other heroes, and it's going to be like we talked about earlier, amalgamation, a smashing of different heroes put together with different powers. So I think it's kind of hard to avoid that.
Yes, and I agree, and this is kind of why in my overarching review of this, there are those bones of like superhero origin story. I just think they did some of those things well. I thought that was done well. So it's like, it has been done before, yes, but I liked the way they did it.
Absolutely. So, I agree.
And then the heart of this movie, I mean, that's the big thing. We've talked about it already. And then in general, the suit, the way it operates, again, like you said, it's Iron Man meets Green Lantern meets Venom. I thought in general the way it functions is great, and the way it looks, not just from like the design being cool, but the CGI, how well it's done. Like this will stand the test of time.
I think it looks really cool. I love the overall tone of the movie. It was fairly lighthearted. You mentioned the heart of this movie. I think that's the family's at the center of it. Having that extended family all in kind of a close knit, close quarters, I think was really great. You mentioned the Nana, Rudy being a conspiracy theorist. I thought was hysterical. I think that was just great stuff with the long rat tail in the back. I think that's good stuff.
It was fun.
We mentioned the sexual innuendos there. I was watching Blue Beetle in action. Like you said, the suit was really cool. And I thought the mix of martial arts and kind of toggling back and forth, almost like Spider-Man, to going from stun mode to kill mode, like that sort of thing. Like I thought that was cool. And here is what I did like, although it kind of goes off the deep end a little bit later, but killing the father. I think that added a level of stakes to this. Which I think this movie, I'm not sure if it would have had. The meeting in the afterlife or whatever that was after was a little bit too much. But again, I thought it all kind of worked for again with the movie's tone, the dynamic of everything. But I like the fact that they killed someone off close to him.
I'm gonna keep the afterlife chatter for a little bit later because we'll just leave it at that. But I agree, like actually offing him, and I was thinking in the course of that whole, like they laid the perfect foundation for it too. Like he had a heart attack, and you mentioned it, and then you kind of move on for a second. We got to keep moving forward. Like we're fine, whatever. And then he's totally back later. Yep, it comes up later, and and when they started like the whole attack, I was like, he's gonna have something happen to him. It's gonna happen, and they like I felt it. Like it was very for me, it was definitely. I got more emotional in this movie than I expected to.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a strong family element that you're rooting for, right? It's pretty easy and they're pretty likable. And all like the ribbing on one another and everything. Like I thought that worked out really good. What do you think will age the worst from this movie?
Okay, so we mentioned the mirror match villain, like
yes,
just in general. Like, look, hey, Carapax, he had an interesting story, but again, like we're talking about.
See, I didn't even really care about his story, like because I knew that was going to come up. Like halfway through this movie, I was like, he's going to sacrifice himself at the end there because it was the moment that he looked at his locket,
the locket,
you know, the first time that gets mentioned, or the first time that you mentioned that, you know, he used to have, you could tell that something wasn't going to be right with him with just like certain looks. And I'm like, this guy's going to sacrifice himself. We know Susan Sarandon's like the real bad guy here, and he was just kind of like the bodyguard, the muscle. So there was, I just saw that coming because he also very clearly is a Latino man. I just felt like it made sense.
Gotcha. So I still either way. Like I didn't like he was just rough. Like I wasn't a big fan of the design of his armor at the end was really, really cool.
It was interesting, for sure.
But other than that, him and Victoria, they didn't do a whole heck of a lot for me. But that was definitely where this movie lost points. But I think they did a good job of like hiding them in the course of the movie.
Yeah, I agree too. I agree. I think Susan Sarandon is a good villain. I think she plays a good corporate mean girl. You know what I mean? I think she does that very well. But you know, again, I don't think that she's done that a couple of times. I feel like she's played that role a lot.
Right. I'm not saying in general. I'm saying in this movie, I just felt she felt kind of clunky to me, and I don't think it was the writing. I think it was more her. I think she was too cookie cutter.
Well, I thought something that was very, very lazy or maybe even cookie cutter was her reasoning for her heel turn, right? Because her and Ted are brother and sister, right? To their father of Cord Industries there. But the father and Victoria were like-minded in being like all in on weapons manufacturing. Ted was more of the benevolent type, right? But on his deathbed, they leave everything to Ted. And they chalk it up to sexism is what they say. But I was like, that I feel like that's just so lazy and just like surface level deep, right? Because a great thing, and I'm thinking of this through the movie, it like took me out of it for a second. It was like, you have this guy who is a benevolent guy. What if you have the father who's making this decision have a change of heart on his deathbed? It's like, I've made bad decisions. I don't want Victoria to make those bad decisions. I'm going to hand the company over to Ted, who has a kinder heart and a different approach to this, to change the company around. He then runs it into the ground. She takes it over and she's pissed about not getting the company. And now she can finally run things her way. I don't know. That seems simple enough.
I agree with you because I think that is how she acted in this movie. That's what this movie felt like the whole time. It felt like the whole, like, hey, this is like a sexist that she gave it to Ted instead of her. I was like, well, you mean that why are we going to explore that more? Are you just going to throw that out there? It's just
said, and then yeah.
It was a throwaway thing. I'm not saying you couldn't have done it and made it work, but you didn't. Like it was out there, and all right, we moved past it. So maybe I would have felt different about her performance. Maybe I still don't think I would have. I thought she was kind of just like fine, like okay, like she wasn't overpowering enough in the movie that it bothered me. But yes, I agree. Like that was the way that was used was just like it was just a throwaway thing.
Yeah, and what I found funny is, you know, the reoccurrence of her scientist henchman there, Sanchez, who she kept referring to as Sanchez, whose name was not Sanchez.
Yeah.
And he has that big moment. He's like, that's not my name. My name is blah, 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 whatever he says. In the IMDb, let me see here. Harvey Guillen, I think he's on What We Do in the Shadows in the TV show.
Oh, my goodness.
His role is Dr. Sanchez.
That's amazing. What?
So that is his name. I mean, according to us, right? And from our perspective there in our universe.
Yeah, wow, that's confusing. I'm actually curious because when he did the full name, I thought it was like, maybe I'm wrong. I've only seen some of What We Do in the Shadows, like not enough to include it on my with the DSG list.
Sure, yeah.
But like I thought he had like a really long name there, and I didn't know if that was like the joke they were kind of trying to play off of.
Oh,
but
that's his name in real life. Yeah, no, I mean it could have been. But yeah, so I thought that I had a good laugh when I was putting the script together. I was like, oh, that seems weird. How about an incoherent or glossed over backstory of the Scarab?
Yeah, I mean,
because we're told that this is like a world destroying device.
Yeah,
and it has a mind of its own. So like I wonder, like I assume once they become one with Jaime, right, that it's like some of his goodness takes over. But if the idea is for the Scarab to be this world destroying device, why would it seek out a good-hearted person?
To me, that's actually a fair point. Well, maybe it's because it's so powerful. Either way, however, if I try and logic it out, it's not going to satisfy anything.
Yeah, no, I know. I think that's why it's like a great unanswerable question, because it does kind of gloss over in the opening credits there, and you kind of see some like interesting stuff with it, but it's not really touched on.
It's a good unanswerable question. And personally, I thought the way the movie moved, like to the beat of jazz, some would say, I thought it was like I didn't even think about that in the course of viewing it.
No, I agree. I just went with it. This came up over the course, of reviewing the movie after the fact. But yeah, I think the pacing was pretty good, actually.
It was. And the other thing was on what will age the worst. We touched on this already for me. Just the Jaime dad conversation in the afterlife. My thing is, if it's in his head, okay. If it's in the afterlife, it just feels like so out of place for this movie.
Yeah, it's an odd scene. Again, this is Black Panther, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever. There's probably a couple other moments there. Frigga and Thor and Endgame, that sort of thing. So it seemed a little weird. I think he was in the afterlife though.
Okay.
I think it's the afterlife. Yeah.
Okay. By the way, I've been this whole time I'm trying to figure out what I can't find his full name from Blue Beetle. It just keeps saying Dr. Sanchez.
Yeah, see, everyone's just slandering him left and right.
But I feel like, okay, so he in What We Do in the Shadows, his name is Guillermo de la Cruz. So he definitely said de la Cruz.
Oh yeah, I can see. Yeah.
So there might have been a joke that was on there
that he had him put the name in there. That's interesting. Yeah.
But
how about the white lady at Cord Industries, the receptionist there, who just kept calling Jaime Jamie, like even after like he corrected her? Like, I don't think that happens in real life. There's a cosmic gumbo there.
Yeah, Corey in the chat. But I don't know about that. Like, I feel people get names wrong. No, I've definitely.
But if someone corrects you, it's no, really?
Yes.
I don't know, man. That's why. Just like flatly be like, no, fuck you. I'm going to call you what I want. I don't know. That seems extreme.
Maybe the manner in which she did it was extreme, but I've definitely seen that before. Where it's like, this is clearly that person's name. Okay, I got it. Say it wrong again. No, it's this. Okay, got it. Say it wrong again. Like I have, but it
wasn't even like if it's close, like if you say like Himi to Jaime, but like to be like, no, I'm going to continue saying it the way I said it the first time.
Well, yeah,
I don't know. That's interesting. Yeah,
she was an asshole. There's no question about that. Yeah.
So this rolls into a good question where whether it's the Jaime dad convo, who actually did a really good job. I think he is NoHo Hank's lover in Barry. I knew I recognized him from somewhere there, but I like that actor.
He was good though. Yeah, you're right.
But yeah, so whether it's that convo or the gloss over story of the Scarab. Some more unanswerable questions. Is this in James Gunn's DC universe? He might have answered this already. Maybe.
It needs to be.
Did he? Did he not answer? Did he skirt the question?
I feel like he's skirted it so far.
I think he was like waiting to see which way the wind was going to blow. Like if this was going to be a well-received movie, he's like, maybe we'll throw it in there. Yeah, no.
I mean, I think just wait to see the finished product too. And I mean, this is awesome. Like it's very good. So I don't know how you don't go forward with. I would think
I think it should. I don't see what the issue is. I don't think it's a bad movie by any means. I think he's a cool character. Like I don't see why they wouldn't have him in there.
You have 3 quality characters from this. You should be able to move forward.
Yeah. So with that said, this gets a sequel.
It should.
Because we got the mid and end credit scene there, right? With Ted being alive, who I heard that voice was Jason Sudeikis. Playing another famous Ted.
Okay. All right.
Is Ted Cord? Is Ted Cord Ted Lasso?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe. Could be. Why not?
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows?
Crossover. The crossover we've all been waiting for.
Yeah, it could be. It could be nice there. Yeah, well, no, we got that. What does Rudy do for a living? Because he's just like a handyman fixer who creates this camera blocking device, signal blocking device, like on a whim in the back of his car, knows how to fly the Blue Beetle bug. But so at the end, I just assumed that he was like, because he was crapping on Cord Industries and how they make like shitty tech and all that stuff, right? But so at the end, when Jenny replaces his truck, I thought she was going to get him a job at Cord Industries.
I did too. And maybe she did, but it was weird that they didn't go and say that. And also to that end too, with Rudy, like, so it's, how does he know how to fly Blue Beetle? Like the Blue Beetle machine or whatever it is, like out of nowhere. I trust that he kind of knew what he was doing just because he's so like into weird stuff and he has like a tech understanding. I was fine with it. But
that's what I mean. Like, what was his previous job? I thought we were able to be like, oh man, they fired me because I couldn't do anything, and he just like used to work at Cord or something.
Maybe. But I just wanted to bring this up with the mom when she was flying out afterwards. Like I kind of liked where she was like losing her shit as she was flying it, but at the same time, I'm like, why are you flying it now?
Yeah.
Why is Rudy not flying anymore? Are we just trying to give you your moment at the end of it all? And I think when I look at it all, Wes, like I mean, maybe like 1 point is lost because of like what they tried to do with her. But other than that, the big losses for me were like Carapax on points, Carapax, Victoria, and then like the weird afterlife combo. Just throw it out there.
I tell you something that I did like. I should have touched on this earlier. Was the sister taking a dump in Victoria's suite? That was fun. Love a good girl dump. Drop the heat.
Yeah,
it's hot down there. You gotta let them go. Yeah, that was fun. Okay, this actually works in nicely. Who had the best performance by a side character?
Wait. I had one unspoken.
Oh no, question. Okay, go ahead, please.
So we talked about a ton already about the afterlife question. So not to ruin your transition, I apologize.
No, don't.
This isn't so much an unanswerable question, but I want to hear what your thoughts are for this as a foundation for a sequel idea. Jaime, Jennifer, and Rudy all back for the sequel have pivotal roles.
Okay, you got to bring the sister back too, right? I mean, she was too close into the fold. But yeah, I hear you. Yeah,
I'd be open to it, but definitely have to have those three. Those are the most versatile characters of the three. I think maybe the sister. Then Ted Cord obviously is set up to be in the sequel. Then a guy named Booster Gold, who I know you're not familiar with.
I've heard this name before, though.
Okay, well, him and Ted Cord's Blue Beetle are buddies. And Booster Gold is like this OP guy from the future, but he's a total fucking jackass. And like not in a mean way, he's just a dummy.
I remember hearing this was like one of the characters that James Gunn wanted to develop, or someone like that would be obscure that would want to fold in here. And I think like the fan casting was Chris, not Chris Pine. No, the best Chris. Not Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt. Thank you. Yes.
Okay. That would definitely. Chris Pratt could definitely play Booster Gold, and I think we heard that was one of the projects. Yeah, you're right.
I thought so. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe that's why James Gunn didn't say anything, because he wanted to see how this goes, see how it played out, and then if we're going to do a Booster Gold movie, then you'll have Ted Cord in there, and then you can bring maybe these other characters in the mix. You don't have to, but you can, because Booster Gold's from the future. So there's a whole lot of different dynamics. And that's why I'm not like, bring the whole Reyes family back. That's not why I'm saying that. Like, it's because they like time travel. I don't know if you can make it work where you have all of them there.
That's interesting. I like that. That's
okay.
That's a good unanswerable question. I answer yes.
Thank you. That's all I need.
Yeah.
I live for approval.
There we go. Best performance by a side character. Whom from the Reyes family gets chosen?
It's down to two people. As much as I said what I said about Rudy and him being the one that should go into a movie that's set in the future, I take Nana over him in this one. He's awesome. He's great. But Nana Reyes, I mean, just what she does at the end, she has this like matriarch kind of forceful way to her. But like she's still like sitting in the back and just kind of letting things go and being supportive where she can and so on. But then when she lets her hair down at the end, it's like, oh, Nana's fucking ready to go.
I think that first moment for me when I realized that with her is when she gathers the family together after the father dies. And she's like, now is not the time for crying. Now is the time to get back at her enemies. And she like really riles it up. That's why I feel like the mother's speech a little later on falls flat, because we already got that strong kind of team gathering, kind of like nut up type of moment from her.
And this is where some of the acting maybe was not great on her end, but this is where the writing fell flat, because in the end, she could have still given a good speech, but in a different way, because where Nana's like ready to go and she's like a borderline leader in all of this. Mom could have been like, I'm not the one in charge. I can't go and help you do this. Like there's a way this could have been written better.
No, I agree. There's another workaround there, but I do want to give my love for Rudy Reyes here, because George Lopez really goes for it here. I mean, he's just kind of letting loose. He's going nuts. He's falling all over the places. He's doing physical comedy. He's got one-liners. He's improvising on the set. He's a funny guy. It was nice to get a comeback performance from George Lopez here, because I watched a little bit of the George Lopez program when it first came out. I believe it was on ABC. It was a funny show. It's a good show.
It was on ABC first?
I think so.
I know it was on Nickelodeon later on. I know that. Wait, are you talking about the late night show or the sitcom?
The sitcom.
Yeah, that one's one that was on Nickelodeon later. Okay, yeah. He said it's done a lot. Like I remember, those are the two things I remember him for.
Yeah, no, I'm a big George Lopez guy. You know, I'm a fan of his whole collection.
Yeah, well, there you go. Who knew?
See, I love Corey gets it here, and he won him over. That was such an over the top performance. Again, needed a little bit of zaniness because there was a lot of emotion, a lot of heart into it. So I think he offers that pretty well.
Yes, and Corey in the chat too, a good example of why you want to watch us on our YouTube channel. I know today Wes gave you all a freebie over on Twitter as well.
I did not. I didn't even let them know. I just cut the stream off like just like when the parents find out that you're watching the scribbled porn, they just pull the plug.
Finger to the throat means death. All right, let's see. Who lost this movie, Wes?
Maybe this movie. Maybe the movie lost. No one went to go see it, unfortunately. It kind of suffered from this dead in the water purgatory stage of not being in the old DCU, but maybe not quite being in the new DCU. So we don't really know where it is. This is the same problem that Shazam 2 suffered from. It's going to be the same problem. It's the same problem that The Flash suffered from, despite all of its big swings there. It's going to be the same problem that Aquaman 2 suffers in December or whenever that movie comes out. So it's kind of just tough where it is. But I think given the cards and the hand that it was dealt, it did a whole lot of good.
Yeah.
But in spite of that, it may not matter.
I think this is a fair assessment. I think I'm just on the opposite side of it, where it's like the people who are choosing not to see this movie are also losing out on seeing a fun movie. But at the same time, like,
I don't think you have to go to the theaters necessarily. Maybe if you want to go on the $4 day, but I don't think it's necessary to go see this in theaters.
No, but if you haven't seen, well, the thing is, there's been quite a few good movies out recently where maybe you don't have to, especially for adults and for kids. But this is definitely one where you can both be on the same level. Like, I don't think Mario and TMNT weren't that, or Spider-Verse, but this is a little bit, I don't know if it's a little bit older, but either way, I think if you're just ignoring this because of the whole DCEU, like the mess that it's become, or the transition period that it's in, if you're just ignoring it because of that, you're missing out. Like, and I do think that Jaime Reyes could last into James Gunn's plans.
I think it should. I think it's worked. I love the whole like Miami Vice type of feel, but in like a futuristic world. Like the whole palette, I think was really worked for me.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Who won this movie? The Reyes family. They were the big takeaway here. I think they were the driving force of it. Love the connectivity of the family there, the extended family, having everyone under a tight roof. Although I did get major anxiety seeing that first scene where the scarab connects to Jaime and the whole house is ruined. And it's like, oh, the work that has to go in. The guy already, they can't keep their shop open. They're losing I guess they're losing the house anyway. But
yeah. I think the people who put this movie together, I mean, I know I list off Angel Manuel Soto, the director. I don't know where to give credit in that regard, but like, it's just like this, the action in this is great. The CGI and all of this is really awesome. The acting, like by and large, is very good. I mean, we're picking apart a few people here, but like there's Rudy, Nana, Jaime, Jennifer, I'm blanking on the sister's name. They're all great. They were all awesome. Like again, and the dad, you've talked about him a ton. All of them, and then you have a few that kind of fall flat. But that's like they did really well. So
Milagros, the sister's name.
Milagro. Okay, I'm giving it to the director here, because I think everything came together well, and I think that he deserves more opportunities from here, like after the way this movie was put together. But there may be other people that deserve it, but yeah, that's my winner.
No, I like that. It's good stuff. It's a good movie. So just to reiterate, Nick gives it an 87. I give it an 85. It's a great origin story. CMMCU rankings averages out to an 86. There we go. There, I can do that math.
Good math.
But yeah, so that's good stuff. Go check out Blue Beetle. Have some fun. Go spend $4 at your theater on August 27th.
Yes, I agree.
Wait, no. That's Little Uzi's Vert. I just sounded so old there. Little Uzi Vert. I just want to rock. It's off the soundtrack. So that was just what I did there. Yeah.
Okay.
It has some connection to the actual movie. I swear.
Got it. Okay.
But that's it, because we already did the Discharge Depot. The train has already left the station. Next week is my birthday week. So that means a free play for me here. I get to come up with something. I need to do a little extra reconnaissance work here. I have a couple of movies that I like, but I just want to we'll settle down on a nice movie here.
So we'll call it TBD.
Yeah, that's fair to say. We still get some dudes grunting in the background here. At the same back time, same bat place.